Suzy, the narrative even today has not changed, when in the corporate world where you've been tattooed with wrong, examples, you stand for yourself or you stand for others, the narrative has not changed. My question to you, because if a lot of women have empowered, the working population of women contributing to the economy has definitely gone up. The number of women representing at leadership role, all of that has changed. One thing that has not changed is this narrative. Do you think that we are still compromising?
When you say the narrative and you use the word compromising, what exactly are you referring to?
So I'll tell you from my own personal experience. I am from corporate, working as head of HR for companies. Troubled relationship because with my bosses, reason being, yes, I call out. I fought for Nirbhaya, and right now I'm struggling to find another role for myself because I've been tattooed as social activist, and people don't want noisy women in corporates. On top of it, I'm divorced, so I'm definitely a frustrated woman who would want to make noise and get attention, seeking something in her life, and we don't want such women.
So, to answer that question, Shruti, first, I would like to say that it's not just women, but whistleblowers generally are ostracized, they are silenced. And from eons that has been done. Anyone, it could be a man, it could be a woman, but if you are a whistleblower, you're seen as a troublemaker and the powers that be are going to eliminate you. But having said that, I think it is very important if women want to survive the reality of their environments in the workplace, that they can't isolate themselves from the reality on the ground. We may want to live in a utopian world. That's not the world we physically inhabit. So we have to consider the ground realities. And while this whole idea of more power to women and more equality to women is gathering force, we have to understand it's a process. We are trying to undo something which has been happening since hundreds of years. I mean, it's from the Mughal era and from the time of Guru Nanak Dev Ji, when he initiated this whole idea of women coming into the langar along with the men because he was supporting equality for women. Can you imagine? I mean, since then we are struggling for being treated equally as genders. And therefore, it's not going to undo itself very fast in a matter of a year or a decade. It is a process. It's a process of unfolding. And we have seen in recent years, starting from the fact that a couple of years ago, I think it was 2013, when the Vishakha committee was institutionalized in organizations, the POSH committee was set up. And so women could feel more safe and secure, and they had a go-to at the workplace if they were being harassed. Then there was more recently the Me Too movement, which again, took a global sort of shape, and it has definitely shaken corporations. And more recently, in your case, the whole Nirbhaya judgment, I think, is all of these are landmark events that show us that yes, women are slowly being invested with more respect, with more justice, with more power, but it's a process. And when we look at organizations, we have to see that they're also struggling. Organizations don't feel safe with women who are very outspoken, women who are seen to be volatile. And I've had cases of some very senior people, strangely enough, in HR itself, who've been put out of their jobs in the last couple of years. I've had at least 2 women who've come to me with that problem, and I've helped them through. But the fact of the matter remains that you have to, if you want to survive the corporate environment, I have coined what I call a little acronym formula, which is AMC BMC. What is this AMC BMC? The first one, the A, stands for ambition. Some of us, we can be very nonchalant and wear ambition on our sleeves. That doesn't go down very well in organizations because it's going to threaten the boss, it's going to threaten the other stakeholders. And I would urge women to be a little more discreet about their ambitions if they want to be in that race long term. So it just means that you're being wiser and smarter about how you're handling the situation with a greater degree of maturity and a greater acceptance of human behavior and human fears. It's not undermining you in any way. It is just making you more competent to handle the reality on the ground. So that's the first thing. The M of the AMC is often women can become, because they're emotional creatures and because they tend to be nurturers, they bring that nurturing quality into their workspace and their boundaries get diffused. You know, they start thinking some of their colleagues they're fond of become like family mates to them. And they start expecting and wanting to support their colleagues and their office members like a little, that's another brood, that's another tribe, that's my family too. And I think that's a complete error because you must carry your mind to work and bring your heart back home. So be driven in workspaces by your mind. Don't make those foolish decisions. Shruti, you know what I'm referring to here. Maybe also that if you're not getting paid for 3 months, please ask to be paid. Don't think that this is my father and he will pay me maybe 1 year down the line and it's okay, right? Because it's a commercial organization and you can't do commerce with your heart. You must do commerce with your head. So that's the M. C is what I call the principle of compensation. Now in the workplace, it goes without saying that you will have some disadvantages. But if we look at nature, whenever there is a disadvantage in one area, nature overcompensates with some other facet in your being. So let's say if you're hard of hearing, then maybe your vision will be sharper, or if your vision is weak, then your hearing is sharper. So to that degree, I'm saying, if you feel that you have a gender handicap at work, then please use your gender intuition and your gender wisdom to your advantage as a positive compensatory factor. Be smarter about how you go about things. Be more tactful, be more discreet. The BMC. It's very important for women to pick their battles very wisely at the workplace. You can't be, raise a red flag for everything because the system will just say she's a troublemaker. And you have to see your personal circumstances too. You know, you may feel very strongly about something, but let's say you're the sole bread earner and maybe your husband's just been laid off and you need to bring that salary home. Then even though you feel that, okay, what I'm seeing and what is happening, I should raise my voice, but you may choose not to raise your voice, and that is perfectly okay because your personal circumstances does not allow you that luxury at that point in time. So please pick your battles wisely. The second M of the BMC is never mix business and pleasure. Again, this is one of those errors. You know, it starts out with office party hai, and you know, you get close and then you start hanging out, and that mixing business and pleasures creates a lot of problems. So if you want to succeed and you want your due at work, then it's very important that you keep those boundaries well defined. And the last C is, if you do get checkmated at work, which may happen to many women, please don't lose hope and faith in yourself. Look for another path, work your way through, and do not get cowed down by one failure. It is very important that you continue to believe in yourself and you find another organization which may have a more conducive culture and where you can shine.